What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 73 of Wars in the Stars. Wow. What a day.
Yeah.
Uh, what a day. As always, I'm joined by Alex,
Oh,
and
I'm slouching right now. I'm gonna have a back hunch.
I don't think we need any introductions or how are yous. I just want to get
No,
right into it.
get into it.
What we were talking a little bit before the show, and what a special moment. Um, I'm about to get emotional. Jesus Christ. Not a lot of things in media make me emotional. Um, like throughout the entire episode. And to me, what always is an indicator to me that something's a great story is that I will always get emotionally reactive to it. Some examples of that just in Star Wars is Luke in Return of the Jedi, the Vader scene at the end,
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith, that final fight, Luke showing up in The Mandalorian, Luke in the Book of Boba Fett. Um, and this is another one.
Yeah.
Um, on rewatch, I bawled my eyes out just as much. Um, and it was a perfect love letter to the franchise. It
Mm,
really was. It was. People say that you know cameos and nostalgia. I've said it before. It's not the way Star Wars should go, but damn it, sometimes it's really, really good. And this was great. I mean,
yeah.
I have a hard time. I don't know if I could say it's better than the Mandalorian season 2 finale.
I
Um,
can.
but I mean, dude,
Yeah.
it's the grand finale at the fireworks show. It's
Yeah.
that. That's the best way analogy I
Yeah.
could put it. It's
I mean,
beautiful.
I think to sum up in quick words before we go in depth, this show, but this episode specifically, was labeled rematch of the century. Do you think it lived up to it?
I think so. I
Mm.
think
I,
it did.
I think that general consensus is that it lived up to it.
But also, not even that. And now we could get into other things in the episode. Qui-Gon Jinn,
Yeah.
Liam Neeson, dude. It's been, listen, we watched that movie. That movie came out 4 years before I was born and about 5 before you were born, right? 99, I was born in 03, you were born in 04, right?
Yep.
Um, and I cried when I saw him. Like he was always like an old friend.
I didn't
Well,
cry, but
well,
I
you were
started.
crying. You were just.
I was already crying, but it wasn't that moment that got me. I was already out of it, bro. I told my dad because we've been watching it. I was so emotionally drained from this episode to then have to go watch Miss Marvel after. I was just
Uh,
like, I literally was just the entire time watching Miss Marvel thinking about how awesome Kenobi was.
I watched this with my family because my family, they're not huge Star Wars fans, but they've liked the show. And dude, I tried to hold back like so much. I'm like, I gotta leave the room real quick. Just it, and it's not just the rematch of the century. I think every character in this episode, it was their best
Yeah.
outing. Like Moses Ingram, that was her best acting performance by far. Like she was fantastic. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. If you would have told me Aunt Beru was gonna be a standout of an episode of
I
Obi-Wan Kenobi,
know.
I would have thought you
It's
were
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah,
Liam Neeson being a little snarky Qui-Gon Jinn. What took him
oh
so
my god.
long?
Bro, literally he was such a dick to Obi-Wan. What took you so long?
I mean, dude, it's just the Emperor. Nobody's even talking about that. That's massive in itself. Ian
I
McDermott
know.
returned as the Emperor.
No, granted, I think anybody who does talk about it kind of does talk about how wonky he looks. His face does look a little interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, like I first heard it, I'm like, this sounds weird. Like when I first heard it, I'm like,
Yeah, I was like, but when I first saw it, I was like, Yeah, that sounds. Oh my god, your face is so ugly. I just kept looking at it. I was just like, I don't like that. I don't like. I really, really don't like that.
For after this, we'll get in depth if you want to say anything else. For all the faults I think this show has, I think this show wasn't perfect. I think episodes 1 through 4 had plenty of weaknesses. I think um, that we've touched on, or I especially have touched on. You've been higher on the show than I have, but I think the show's been good. But it's good up until that point. But these last 2 episodes, man, just
Great.
like
The thing with the
great.
show is, for me personally, there is not a single episode that I would rank below an 8.5. And I think that speaks volumes to the show quality. Now, yes, there were problems with the show. I had my own qualms with parts of it. You had your own qualms. I'm pretty sure everybody did. But my big thing is that, like, I can tell you right now, I can walk away from this series and I feel satisfied. I feel, yeah, this was worth the almost almost 20-year wait. A 17 or so year wait from Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
This was
Yeah.
worth it. Now, yes, do I wish it was even better? Absolutely. But for what we got, I was very pleasantly surprised with how good it actually was. And I think that the last live action show we got, just bear in mind, was the Book of Boba Fett, a show that I believe me and you can agree on. We weren't overly high on. It was good,
Yeah.
but it wasn't great like Kenobi was. And that's what I think is I think that's the best way to look at the Disney Plus shows is The Mandalorian season 1 was great, season 2 was amazing. Book of Boba Fett was good, and Kenobi was great.
I would say, like we've discussed this, I still would take The Mandalorian any day over this show because I
Oh
just
yeah,
think The Mandalorian is consistently great. This
yeah,
has um, maybe some of the greatest moments in Star Wars, I think.
yeah.
Um, but it's not consistently great. It just,
Um, I can really only think that episode 4 is really mainly only the episode where I'm just like, yeah, I could see the kind of dip in people not liking it. But apart from
episode
that,
two's, it's good, but it's not, it has nothing in it that makes it great.
oh, it does to me. I love seeing the connections with Padme and whatnot. I think when you put the series as a whole back together, it's a good it's a good study on like Obi-Wan, I think at least.
Yeah, I really do. I think it is a good character study of Kenobi, and I guess now we can get into. Do we want to get into the fight first?
I think we should start with the thing that was not less interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed everything in this episode. I don't think there
Uh
was a
huh.
single I don't think I don't think there was a single weak part of this episode.
No, I
I'd
totally
say the
agree.
weak I'd say the weaker part was the stuff out on Tatooine.
Now, before we get into that, I do want to say I don't know. I don't like to have outside projects influence how I view stuff, right?
Mhm.
But we've talked about how Kenobi will inevitably change how we view A New Hope. I honestly think that this might have somehow they made it so they perfected this finale to a point where I think my experience watching A New Hope now will be even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, my one thing, and I'm gonna say it now, and I know you and I might disagree with this. I am a little bummed that we did not, in my opinion, get the resolution on a line that was very big in Return of the Jedi of Obi-Wan once thought as you do. I didn't get Obi-Wan thinking that he wanted to try to redeem Anakin because even Obi-Wan himself went into that fight saying either he dies or I die, and he
So
didn't see an in between.
here's my interpretation. I think you can interpret that as Vader saying, because Luke talks about in that scene, he refers to him as Anakin, my father, or his father, I should say. So my interpretation is that Vader is saying that because Luke sees that as Anakin Skywalker. Vader obviously doesn't see it that way. So when he says Obi-Wan once thought as you did, he's implying that there is no Anakin. That's dead, consumed by Vader, which is obviously not true. I mean, we literally even see in this episode the eyes are blue. The eyes are blue. That like uh he is consumed by Vader, encapsulated, trapped by Vader, but the glimmers, the slither of Anakin Skywalker still remains, and he remained even in that scene. He was never gonna obviously, turn back because
Yeah.
he's trapped by these ideals of Vader, but he was there. That was him. That when he says the line, he says, um, "It is. It's." He says something to the. I don't remember the exact line, but it's to the essence of, "It's not your fault, Obi-Wan, that this happened." I
No, I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan.
Right. That's Anakin saying that. Anakin saying
Oh
that
yeah.
he is his biggest failure himself. And to go back to the Tatooine stuff now, I on second rewatch I actually enjoyed it more because the first time I was just like, get back to the fight, get back to the fight,
Yeah.
get back to the fight. But on second rewatch, I really enjoyed it. The first time when I saw the lightsaber come up, I'm like, please, please do not wake up, Luke. Please do not wake up. But it was really well done, like really well executed.
Yeah.
Like Riva when she sees herself, I'm like, whoa. When she's about to slice Luke, I'm like, whoa. Um, and yeah, just that was really well done, I thought. And yeah, I mean, Owen and Baru, I never thought like Aunt Baru would be like
Standouts.
a standout. Like,
Standout.
what'd you think of that whole sequence?
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that stuff. I didn't. My thing with this is that anytime it went back, it was on the fight. After we cut from Tatooine, it was like, okay, but I really want to know what's going to go on with Riva and the stuff on Tatooine. And then it would cut to that and be like, but I really want to go back to the fight and finish the fight. And then it'd cut back to the fight. I'm like, but wait, go back. Like let's go back to Tatooine for like 3 more seconds. That's always the loop that I found myself in with it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was in love with both sides. You know, I
Yeah,
was I was thoroughly like I didn't feel like I was like being like, oh, go away. But yeah, I thought it was all really good. I didn't find any part of this episode weak. I didn't find any part of really any of these last two episodes to be weak. So
yeah. I mean, with the with the Riva and Baru and Owen stuff, I actually thought like that whole sequence was really well done because in A New Hope, you know, we always think I don't know about you, but I always thought of Uncle Owen as a dick,
yeah, like a really overly protective dick.
and not even overly protective, but like I always just thought of like Owen as not really a good father. Like I've always just said, I just took care of Luke. Like he didn't really care about Luke.
Yeah.
I think Baru did, but like I always thought that in New Hope. But like Owen just wanted him on his farm to help him out, and like he didn't really care about him. But this totally changed how I feel about Owen and especially Baru. And it
Yeah.
makes me think a lot about I'd really love a story or just an animation of their last stand in A New Hope against those stormtroopers because damn it, they must have put up a good fight. Those must have been
Yes.
some of the best stormtroopers on the planet because no one I mean Owen literally like hits like Riva, like
Yeah.
uh, actually puts up a decent fight.
Yeah.
Um, and Baru, hits her once. So like, that whole thing just showing us how much they care. It adds a lot. It adds depth to characters I would necessarily say didn't expect to see depth from.
Yeah,
Um, so I just thought I really appreciate that, and
absolutely.
it's weird how much Peru ages in 9 years.
And Obi-Wan, so especially in 6 years for him,
Yeah,
or 7 years, really,
yeah,
however long. Yeah, I mean, I really liked everything. I like that. Like again, yeah, it's like you said. We kind of get the impression that Owen's just kind of like a douchebag to Luke.
right,
Doesn't want him to leave the farm. Doesn't want him to do this. Doesn't want him to do that. We do really get a sense of like why he cares, because
right,
he's his family, you
yeah.
know. And so
He literally says it. Reva's like, you take care of, like, you love him like he's one of your own, and he says he is my own.
yeah,
Really
good
cares.
job, good job, Owen.
But Baru wears the pants in that relationship. She's
Oh,
she's
definitely. Oh,
she's the
definitely.
boss.
Oh,
She's the boss.
definitely.
She's the boss.
She's definitely being like, go to Tashi Station, pick up my goddamn power converters. That's what she's doing. So
It
yeah,
was so good. It was so. I was like, whoa, damn, Baru, damn.
yeah, yeah.
She's a,
Don't.
uh, she's a milf, by the way.
She so is. She so is. So is.
I don't know how and why she decided to stay with him, but she could do a lot better. So
She really could. I'm sorry, Uncle Owen, but listen, you kind of, sort of a lot, give me the impression that you might, from time to time, get a little rageful. You might get, some might say, a little abusive
oh,
physically.
okay, okay. I didn't think it was gonna go down this far, man.
No. I'm joking. We stand Uncle Owen now. So, yeah, man, it's just it was weird having such a turnaround for like Owen, like really, really weird. Like
Yeah,
you don't expect it, but it kind of happens. So
yeah,
good job, Uncle Owen. You get my thumbs up approval for being a good guy.
yeah. You're a king in Peru. You're a queen, absolute
Yes.
queen. Uh,
Um,
for
but
fighting against Riva.
I think it's time. Unless you want to quickly get into what happened before the duel,
Um,
Broken and all of them.
yeah. I want to actually save that for the end because we'll get into our discussion about a possible season 2 or
Yeah.
a possible continuation of this story. By the way, shout out to the Grand Inquisitor because he was the smartest person in this episode.
Yes,
Shout out to him.
I love that you could tell that he's getting like visibly upset at Vader.
Right.
Like so many people have memed that still frame of him going like rolling his eyes. It's perfect. It perfectly encapsulates their relationship.
Some things are far more frightening than death. It's Vader
Exactly.
being an idiot.
It's not
By the
Vader.
way, by the way, okay, if you're Vader, okay, you still could have taken your ship and you could have followed him yourself.
Yep. Yeah, well, you know what? Hindsight 2020. Maybe he wanted to make sure his Star Destroyer was there in case something went wrong.
Like
You
what
know?
happened?
Yeah. Could you imagine the conversation? He walked by the Grand Inquisitor and he's like, "Did you get him?"
Hello, Lord Vader. Did you
Hello, Lord
get him?
Vader. Does revenge taste sweeter? That's their relationship, though. It's crazy because you're just like, oh, ha ha ha. That's the relationship those people have. It's so funny, but so sad.
But Vader just throws him around when he wants to. So
Vader is so spiteful. Oh, excuse me, towards the Grand Inquisitor. It's my favorite. If you don't read the comics, sorry, spoiler alert. He literally doesn't let him die, and he traps his soul in a Jedi temple to fight any Jedi who goes there. And he fights Luke Skywalker.
yeah, he does.
It's so sad, but it's so funny because you know what? As bad
At
as this
the
is
end,
going to sound,
when he dies in Rebels, he's like, "There are some things far more frightening than death," and he thinks he's trying to escape Vader. Nope, just nope.
yeah. But I think what's even funny about that is that it's such a Anakin Skywalker thing to do that too. Just be like, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna let you just sit and rot and die forever, or and fight forever. It's so funny, but so cool. So Anakin.
So
But,
Anakin,
but Drew, it is time
I'm gonna get emotional to talk about this because
to get into rematch of the century. Did it live up to it? Yes.
the fight itself, absolutely.
I think this. You're gonna hate me. You're gonna be like, wait. I think this.
Wait, are you gonna say it's better than the fight in Revenge of the Sith?
I think this was a far better fight than the Revenge of the Sith fight. From a choreography standpoint, from a story standpoint, from every standpoint,
I don't think from a choreography standpoint because
no, you know how I feel about those duels. Over choreographed. It's too much like a dance in those films. This felt like a raw fight. It didn't. Yeah, it's just I
love when he makes that noise.
Yeah, I love how you can just tell that like he's getting like you can tell the overconfidence. You know, it's funny. I was gonna make a TikTok about this episode. I really wanted to. I have it filmed. It's in my drafts, by the way. It was my immediate reactions, like literally 2 minutes after I filmed it, or
With
after I
tears
watched.
in your eyes.
Nope, wiped them all before I started filming. That's why it was 2 minutes after, not 30 seconds after. I had said that it's funny that every enemy of Obi-Wan falls into the same trick each time. Maul constantly falling into or underestimating his enemy or overestimating him and his odds. I was like, Vader, with the three people that he loved the most, fell into the same, or three of the most people, in the top four of people that he loved the most, fell for the same trap of thinking that he beat them and walking away. He did it to Ahsoka in Rebels in their fight on Malachor. He thinks that by pushing her off the edge, she's dead. He did it in this episode of Kenobi by burying him in rocks, and then he does it with Luke in Empire Strikes Back. He falls for it time and time again. You think, oh, when are they going to learn? It's the dark side, man. They never learn. They never learn.
Blinded by victory, young Skywalker will always be. That's why a Padawan he always remain. I really love the fight.
So good.
I knew shit was about to get real when he did the pose.
Yeah.
And then he did the Alec Guinness shortly after, the lightsaber just sticking out. And it was really well done. They did the Obi-Wan spin. He switched to his left hand. There was some newer moves that I liked. Like he switched to his left hand and did the Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done. And I will say, like, the lightsabers, I don't know if you notice this, like the hilts, they feel bigger.
No.
You don't think so?
I think they look smaller, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. That could just because I was too busy and I couldn't see. There were just too many tears in my eyes.
I didn't bawl my eyes out. Yeah, I didn't bawl my eyes at the fight itself. It was really well done. And then the force powers as well, I thought was really well done. Bro, I went nuts when Vader like cracks the ground with his lightsaber, puts his hand, he goes, and then he
I know.
just sinks
Yeah.
to the ground, and I'm like, oh my god. And then Petty Kane, he's Anakin Skywalker just lives on forever because this dude's like, if he says I was like, is he gonna say I have the high ground? Because if he says I have the high ground, I'm gonna lose it.
He
Um,
didn't, but
but he did stand over him like he had the high ground, and then buried him to death. Well, or so he thought.
yeah.
But do you
His
actually think like he thought he killed Obi-Wan?
yes.
Yeah.
I think he thought he was put away. Maybe not dead, but put away. Like he couldn't come back. He would die eventually.
Because obviously he talks about how like Obi-Wan holds that rock up,
Yeah.
and he talks about how your powers have come back, but
Hmm.
your weakness still remains, and then he throws it. This shows did a fantastic job of showing how powerful though he really is. Uh his arrogance still blinds him, but like like his raw power.
He's
Um
raw, untamed power.
uh yeah, just I thought it was really well done. The fight itself, like you said, this show was gonna be the first time in the Disney era, right? Really? Or
Yeah, in
that
the
we've
last
seen
since
a true
2005.
blue,
Well, yeah, 2005.
a true blue, and a true red. We're not counting Kylo's because Kylo's is a little different, right?
It's
Because of the
cross guard
crystal.
cracked.
Yeah. Um, and it was beautiful. It was
Hmm.
very. I have to. I don't want to be prisoner of the moment, right? I feel like we can be prisoner of the moment sometimes. Um, with these sort of things. When you think about overall lightsaber fights, I would still take the Revenge of the Sith one over this.
No, I think here's my thing. Is and it's fine if you like that fight more. It's just kind of up to preference. Um, my thing is this: it's just I felt so much more story behind this fight than the Revenge of the Sith fight. Even with Clone Wars in mind, I felt there was so much emotion behind this fight. So much emotion. You felt, in my opinion, you felt every swing, every clash. You felt when Obi-Wan lifts all the rocks up behind him. You know,
Yeah, I get that. I get that for sure.
it's just like
Um,
in my opinion, in the original trilogy and in the sequels and in the prequels, they never capture that grand fight where it's just like oof, like your breath is being taken away by the very like sight of everything. I mean, my jaw was like dropped the entire time I was watching.
I will say what I think really impresses me about this fight is, and shout out to the people in the suit. That's the best Vader's ever moved in a fight. That
Yes.
was fantastic. Like you're very limited in how you can move him.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's obviously canonically a fact, but also like just practically a fact.
Yeah.
But like in this fight, dude, I didn't feel that. Like I
Yeah.
was almost jarred by it, by the way he moved, because
Yeah.
we hadn't seen it. You're so used to Vader in like Empire and A New Hope and Return of the Jedi with those long, slow, beat down strokes. Even in Rebels, you could feel that.
Hmm.
Even in
Yeah.
animation. But this one, like you felt, well, you still felt that there. You felt more finesse. What I appreciated about it was that it felt like Anakin. Like it felt like his movement still in the suit, and I think they've executed that with the show perfectly, making it feel like he is in the suit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I thought it was really well done. I loved the moves. They were new. They were different. Some of them.
Yeah.
And I think the lightsabers, because they obviously use like real ones. I guess you would like ones that actually light up itself. Um, it's not like the original trilogy where they added the light on after.
Well, no,
Uh,
in the original trilogy, that light was real. They used Oh god, I think I just muted. Okay, hold on. Wait, I can't hear audio. I muted it. Okay. In the original trilogy, they used
Oh, the screen in the back. Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
they used in A New Hope specifically. They used the glass. There was
Right.
light shining through glass,
Yeah.
and it was one of my favorite things that people talked about behind the scenes. Is they would swing too hard, and the shit would shatter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So go figure. Hold on.
And then
Give me 1 second. I'm still listening, but give me 1 second.
okay, gotcha. And then in the prequel trilogy, it was just added on afterwards, I
It
believe.
was just red metal rods.
Yeah, it's just yeah. But this it lights up a scene now. Like they're brighter. Like it's just beautiful. It's great.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
I can't say enough about the fight. The fight itself.
look. They use
Yeah.
these signs. Okay. Well, mine's a
Wow.
little defective. Mine thinks we're cutting into the ceiling. But yeah, they use this kind of stuff. Look, just on screen. This is obviously no editing or anything. It looks real.
Yeah.
It looks look, even the going back and forth of it looks real. Now, granted, they don't have stuff like this where they can have blaster deflect, and they also hopefully don't do this. Yeah, look, you want to see it? It's gonna be so smooth when it shuts down. Gives me a hold on, wait, going out.
Oh yeah.
Gives me an erection.
Okay.
Oh, was I not supposed to say that?
Do we want to talk about the scene? The scene.
No, we still got to talk about the fight. I
want to talk about the bro.
I just can't get over Obi-Wan lifting all the rocks, throwing the rocks at him.
Bro, actually, listen.
And it
that actually might be Obi-Wan's strongest force feed.
Yes. And it looked like, which by the way squashes anybody who's still complaining about Rey doing it. Shut the fuck up. I digress. Damn. I know. I had to say it. But yeah, just I don't know if I might have wasn't paying attention or anything, right? It looked like the way that he breaks his chest thing is he gets the back of the saber and pelts it into
Yes.
Him. I thought I missed it, but I thought I saw it maybe at the last second. It looks like he goes this into him.
That's what happens. Because I was really confused. I'm like, oh, he slashed it. But then when I watched it the second time, I'm like, oh, he hits it with the butt, with the end of the lightsaber, and breaks it. And then he slashes him in the back. Yo, Vader. If I'm Vader, I'm simply not taking the loss like that. I'm simply not letting that happen to me.
No, you know what? I'm Vader. I'm not wearing the stupid cape anymore. That cape has proven nothing but a detriment to him every time he fights.
It looks cool though.
That's the problem though. It looks cool. But guess what? Does it look cool when you're getting slashed in the back and all you can do is No, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help your case. He's trying to turn around, but you can't even see where he is. He's moving so fast.
And I love the slow-mo of Obi-Wan jumping off the rock and slashing down on Vader and the mask. Echoing the moment in Rebels.
Yeah, Ahsoka and Rebels. My thing with this is, again,
and it's a nice little detail. I don't mean to cut you off, but
you're fine.
Ahsoka cuts off the right side.
Obi-Wan cuts off the left side.
And Luke unmasks it fully.
Oh, yeah? Drew, I'm going to tell you now. Cut me off again. And we're going to have fucking problems.
I'll defeat you with this. Defeat you with my Gatorade.
Not being healthy. That's my one weakness, but yeah.
I was thinking of that when you said that. I was thinking of that video. You know that that large dude, and they're having that lightsaber fight.
Yes. My favorite. It's by Supreme Fatty or whatever. I love or Airsoft Fatty. Sorry, mix two people up. Airsoft Fatty. I
He
love him.
falls over the trash can. Yeah.
Anger's not the way of the job. That's my favorite. Fuck, I forgot where I was.
We were talking about the mask.
The mask. Yes, I love it. You know, I will say because we had maybe a little bit of discussion about it before. I still prefer the Rebels version, but just I prefer hearing Hayden over Matt. I love Matt. Matt is still my Anakin Skywalker. Like he's still the Anakin that I grew up loving. Anytime I think of Anakin Skywalker, I think of the Clone Wars Anakin. I do not think of Hayden Christensen. Love Hayden though. Happy he came back, but not my Anakin.
Hater.
I know. I know.
Oh, we're losing Alex. We might. Oh no.
No. Oh no. My Jedi friend. But yeah. So I preferred hearing Hayden through it. I think what this series has done and what that scene did for me. Because I might have told you this a few times.
That scene changed me. I'm a different man
Yeah.
now.
It wasn't even that. It was I always had a hard time putting together that was Anakin Skywalker under the suit. Now, apart from physically seeing him under the suit, it was different hearing him under the suit. Which, by the way, he would not sound like that. By the way, he would have no remnants of his voice left because his vocal cords were definitely burned. But beggars can't be choosers when it comes to human anatomy.
I don't care.
But sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought right now. But yeah, it was crazy seeing that, and that scene definitely like it definitely made me believe. Yep, that's Anakin under there. This series has done a really good job at going back to fixing, I would say, some of the bigger threads that the original trilogy left untied. You know, the scene or the quote, I still think it's unresolved. I know you and I disagree, but Obi-Wan once thought as you do still feels a little unresolved. But things like, you know, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. I can safely say, yeah, that feels like there's some grab to that because I can definitely see where Vader learns from it in the future. Not entirely because he does the same thing with Ahsoka, but you know. But yeah, I just buy it more. You know, the original trilogy again, more lines. It was crazy. Just you know what I was not expecting? A Return of the Jedi reference. Oh no, Drew! Don't say you didn't catch it.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna say a line that Obi-Wan says in this, and I want you to think. Where might you have heard this?
Oh, are you talking about at the end when he says
when he says that my friend is truly dead?
Truly dead. Echoes
And
what Luke said,
what
that my
Luke
father
says-
is truly dead.
Yeah. That's probably why that man had a change of heart. He was like, "Oh shit, how much did you tell him about me?"
I also, what was really jarring to me was when he says goodbye, Darth. And like Element said it, but it was one of the first things I thought of. Is like, what I think also this episode did a good job. I don't mean to go on a side tangent here before we get into the big, the big moment. Is
the big thing of Miss Marvel episode 3, baby.
Is the fact that I felt Ewan McGregor becoming Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
I felt it. In his wardrobe change, in his demeanor, like I felt like it was more believable now.
Especially at the end when he's just like, yeah. I think what's crazy though is now the impression that gives me with him just openly wearing his Jedi robes is he doesn't give a fuck who the Empire sends after him. He'll F him up if he needs to.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. Okay, I'm like completely out of
Yeah, oh
focus right
boy.
now.
Yeah, oh
I
boy.
was,
Yeah, he
I was,
doesn't care.
yeah, I was out of focus. Sorry, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, who are you gonna send at me? Darth Vader? Beat him twice already.
Yeah.
It's crazy though to think that they have 4 fights in their life, and Obi-Wan wins 3 out of the 4.
You count the one of the Death Star as a win for him?
Yes, because he transcended anything past any known cosmic force being. Became a force ghost. Even Vader was like to his core shaken at his death. Like, what the fuck just happened?
um, to go back to the moment, I bawled my eyes out. I think it is Ewan McGregor's best acted scene in Star Wars. I don't even think it's close.
What? Are we talking about the same moment?
Like
The
the moment. The.
there's two the moments in this episode.
No, like the moment.
Is it the one or the two?
Like the one.
Is it gonna be that conversation with Anakin?
Yes, that is
Okay,
the
okay,
moment.
okay. Okay, I'm making sure we're talking about the same thing here. I thought you were going to talk about a certain ghost coming alive.
I bawled my eyes out when he starts to cry. I'm about to right now. Because that just scene is so beautiful. That
Yeah,
just we in Rebels we hear Lantern and a little bit of James Earl Jones, but I think this scene does an even better job. Can you turn that off, please?
sorry.
I was actually gonna make my best point of this episode, and then all I hear is whoosh. Um, fuck. Now I lost my thought. Okay, there we go. Um,
sorry. Look, disconnected the blade.
nope. Just throw it. Literally, just throw it in your room somewhere.
No, this was $200. I'm not throwing this.
Throw it on your bed. I don't know. Um,
No, my bed has my Doctor Strange suit on it, which I was gonna wear in this episode, by the way, but it's too much now.
when like just the execution of them changing between voices, there's much more emotional weight to it, and I think it's better executed. His eyes going from blue to yellow, the lightsaber from blue to red, in his reflection. Him not blaming Obi-Wan. That's Anakin deep down speaking.
Yeah,
It's so well done. Obi-Wan crying and apologizing. He didn't have to do that. Obviously, it's not his fault.
yeah,
And just at the end, uh, Obi-Wan comes to accept he's more machine now than man. He came to accept that Anakin Skywalker was dead.
yeah.
Um, and Vader, when he screams out like that,
Obi-Wan.
he's obviously frustrated because he wants revenge, but deep down, it I also think that's him calling for help. Like it echoes back to how Anakin originally in Revenge of the Sith was gonna say, "Help me, help me."
Yeah,
Uh,
you
right,
can still see him saying it, but they cut the dialogue out.
and I bawled my eyes out, and I will
Yeah,
forever bawl my eyes out at that scene because it's
dude,
in my opinion,
it is a top 2 Star Wars scene.
it is Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. It is Luke Vader
Oh,
Return of the Jedi.
I'm saying it's even better than Luke and the Mandalorian. I've
I
never
think
been
yeah,
I have never been so emotionally like touched like that before.
and listen,
Where
I am number one Anakin fan on this podcast. Like
yes, you are.
he's my fit. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Um, and it was just so well done, and it was everything. It was everything.
Yes. This finale was everything that I had ever hoped and dreamed it was to be. I would go on to say I would not change a single thing about this finale.
No, I think it's
Nothing.
perfect.
I think it is a perfect 10 out of 10 finale.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll get into our overall rated for the show. I mean, we've talked for 45 minutes, but there's still so much to talk about.
So much.
Um,
And then just to go from this fight to Tatooine to a very, 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 very weird turn of canonical events. Because Luke and Obi-Wan have now officially met. Earliest point in the timeline. Don't know how I feel about that. I'd say that's probably my one gripe, my one small itty bitty gripe.
well,
Because
he
we,
knows because Luke in a new Luke in A New Hope is looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi, but obviously is introduced as Ben. Um, but it's kind of weird to me that wouldn't recognize him. I mean,
yeah, you could be like, wait, I saw you. Now, granted, let's also take in mind this. This is a far less traumatic experience than what Leia went through. So,
but also let's remember the fact that like Luke probably throughout the next 9 years is going to see a lot of people, and he probably won't remember Ben.
yeah.
Um, Now we do know that in the comics, but then again, I'm really confused about some of the comic stuff because I'm not sure about timeline wise with some of these. Because Ben has saved Luke a couple of times,
Yeah.
I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how that's where that takes place in the timeline. Like I don't know,
I don't know either.
but I smiled so much when he walks up and he says,
Hello
"Hello
there.
there." I just smiled so much. I had the
Yes.
biggest grin on my face. It was
I
just so
I
well done.
literally screamed, "He said the thing!"
uh,
But it's so funny because you're just like, oh, it's just two simple words. What is it? What does it matter? It's not two simple words to this fandom. It's hello there.
it's hello there.
Hello there. And then some Twitter account, I don't remember which one, pieced all three of his hello there's together. And it was perfect. Perfect.
Well, we also have to remember now that I think of it, Luke was just coming off of being concussed,
Yeah.
knocked out into New Hope, so like he's was really confused.
Hello there. Am
Wait,
I supposed to understand that from somewhere?
wait, Kenobi? Wait, there's two Kenobis on the same planet? They both wear robes?
And you're both Jedi? That's awfully similar.
Well, of
It,
course, he's me. uh,
yeah. It's just it's a thing. But then, Drew, to end out the episode.
whoa,
The
whoa, whoa, whoa!
what? What?
Obi-Wan and Leia. Because
Oh yeah.
they were the strong suit throughout this whole show.
And they're
Vivian
concluding
Lyra
it. I
Blair,
forgot.
Queen.
Oh my god. That is the moment where I really like the waterworks really started pouring. When the camera points to her and Leia's theme starts playing. I busted into tears. I
Her
was
with the
like,
blast, her with the holster,
and yeah,
and
and you can just tell it's so A New Hope inspired, and you're just like, oh my god.
that's our princess.
You're just
I
like,
know Carrie. I know Carrie's up there smiling. It's
I know. Because here's the thing: is I know if Carrie were alive, she would have approved of
oh,
Vivian's death.
100%, 100%. Vivian Lyra Blair. I gotta find and
What? Down the dark path forever will it dominate your destiny. Consume you it will. As it did with
so
Obi-Wan's apprentice.
and I love when Obi-Wan says, you know, he talks so highly of Anakin and Padme even after his experience with Vader. He talks about how Leia is fearless,
Just like your father.
strong-headed, and just so well done. And that's another big takeaway for me is the closure on that. And it just that's one of the things that adds to my experience watching A New Hope is that now we have the added context of their first encounter, Ben and Leia, and now we know
See,
when.
y'all crying about canon breaking. It was the now most sad thing ever. Whenever you think about it, that whenever Leia thinks about um, Ben, she probably gets really excited thinking that he's gonna be there for one more crazy adventure, and then she never gets to speak to him ever again.
No, Ben Kenobi.
Yeah. But then
Um,
just think about it. And this is how I always saw it for a long time, but then this really reinforced it for me was think the last thing Obi-Wan sees in his physical form is Luke and Leia united.
somebody said it today. Those two kept him going. Those two kept him alive.
Yes. Can you think like he probably would have taken his life if he didn't see a silver lining coming.
No, no. He talks about like he literally says in the episode, in the beginning of the episode, he's like, "You're the future." And then he looks at Leia and he says, "You're the future. Like you're the one who's going to bring peace, balance to the galaxy."
Yeah.
And it's just so their relationship. It was one of the strongest thing. The strongest thing I think in this show was their camaraderie. In
Absolutely.
episode 2 and 3, I think it was fantastic. Um, and Vivian Lyra Blair, I hope she continues to
Perfect.
play Leia.
Yeah.
I'd love to see her in something else.
Absolutely.
Um, and that's also probably the last time Obi-Wan saw Bail as well.
Yep. Probably.
The last time ever.
Uh,
And a simple line fixed the problem I had. Like, I thought she was going to get mind wipe. Obi-Wan's like, our relationship's important, but you can't let anybody know because it could affect us both. Just one line of dialogue.
yep.
Just made sense. I didn't even think of that. This is why I don't write shows, people. Um,
Hey,
just one line of dialogue, and it
but
works so
hey,
well for
to
me.
my credit, that was a theory I recommended. Said it last week. Mm,
I don't
mm,
remember, so I'm not gonna count it. No, I'm
yep.
joking.
What?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, 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 nerp, 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 nerp,
So
nerp.
we'll get into the final the moment, and then we'll talk about where we think some characters might go from here. And yeah, what did you think of the last moment? Because I also cried at this.
Dude, I was already drawing my eyes from hearing Leia's theme. But seeing Qui Gon, Liam Neeson looks like he is not aged.
No, no.
Dude,
I'm like
dead.
this dude H.
I know, but here's the thing. I can definitely tell you where the de aging budget went because it went to that what? Not even 10 seconds of scene. But hey, you know what? It was beautiful. It was perfect.
It's the first time we've ever seen Qui. Well, I mean Mortis, obviously, but it's the first time we've ever seen his Force Ghost, really.
Yeah. Yep. Wait.
And it's just so funny. The first thing he says after like 23 years of not being in live action Star Wars is like, "Took you long enough."
I know.
It's just like the
Like,
snarkiest
yeah,
thing he could ever say.
yeah, like, come on, you slow son of a bitch. Where were you? What took so long?
uh,
Yeah.
and he said, "Come this way. A long journey you still have left."
A long journey you still have,
Um,
Obi-Wan.
wow, 10 out of
Yeah.
10.
10 out of 10 finale.
When
But
I
now,
add all,
oh, yeah.
we want to give us like a
As
series,
let's give, yeah, I think we both agree this is a 10 out of 10 finale, right?
right?
Let's give a series rating.
So
Just,
when I add up, I'm gonna I've added up all of my totals this year for episodes, and this is
okay.
on. So if you my aggregate score for 6 episodes is 51 and a half. So we're gonna divide that by 6. And Obi-Wan Kenobi for me will sit at an 8.6. Some of the strong suits, Kenobi and Leia, they're dynamic. Jimmy Smith as Bail Organa, I thought was another really strong suit. Vader and Kenobi, when they were on screen, they stole the show. And Reva in episode 5 and 6. Some of the weak points, the Inquisitors were pretty weak, I thought, in the first 4 episodes. Um, Reva's character felt a little bit stagnant. And I felt like if she had her own show, there could have been more development there. But 5 and 6, she was fantastic, as I said. Um, and 5 and 6 really stole the show. But Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to get an 8.6 out of 10 for me on a scale that's really good. That's not Mandalorian good, but that's really good. So I really enjoyed this story, and especially the last 2 weeks, and especially this week talking about it. We've talked almost an hour, and we'll make our predictions for what we think's to come. But beautiful.
Hold on, I have my
Aggregate total. You have your total here.
But this, by the way, is after rewatching the series.
Yeah, I rewatched 1 through 5 as well. So this was after rewatch as well for me.
Oh god, I did that wrong. I'm somehow in the 800s right now. 9 plus 9 plus 9.5 plus 8.5 plus 9 plus 10 divided by 6 comes out to 9.1.
Wow.
I feel that way. Perfect or almost perfect. Almost there. We were on the cusp.
Now let's rank the episodes. I'd say 6 is the best.
Yeah.
5.
Yep.
1, 3.
Yep.
2 and 4.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to get an 8.6 for me and a 9.1 for you.
9.1.
That's higher. So you think this is better than The Mandalorian?
No.
We'll have to rescore this when we do our Mandalorian re-review at the end of July. So
I can tell you, I can go on Disney Plus right now and tell you which episodes of Mandalorian are definite, at least 9 out of 10. My thing with this is the average for my show for this was a 9. So like that's literally what it is in my TikTok draft. I posted it right there.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you right now, The Mandalorian was definitely higher in all accounts. But to also put that in perspective, The Mandalorian is 2 seasons long, much longer, had new characters, so it was easier to grasp onto them. Like if I just go off season 2, I can tell you that I would probably say that episode or chapter 9 was, I'd say a 9 out of 10. I loved the Cobb Vanth episode.
Mm-hmm.
The Passenger was definitely the weakest episode with the spiders and whatnot. I'd say that was 7 out of 10. It was a pretty weak episode in my opinion.
I mean, we rewatched it together.
Yeah.
We'll give our thoughts. It's been a while since I've seen it. So.
But yeah, literally. Then everything else is like 9, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9, or 10. Sorry. So it's The Mandalorian is consistently 9s. Very few drops to 7 and 8,
Mm-hmm.
and then a big 10 at the end.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think when I did my score for the Book of Boba Fett, surprisingly, it was an 8.5.
Ooh, very high for that show.
But I say that as episode 5 was a 9.5 for me, and episode 6 was a 10. So
yeah, I think this though, it's just like I just
don't get me
cannot.
wrong. I think Kenobi is definitely better than the Book of Boba Fett, but
yeah, I just cannot justify saying Book of Boba Fett was even an 8. Because my thing is this. I think I feel like you have to, but I do not count the episodes in big relation to The Mandalorian as episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. I can't. Boba Fett isn't in them.
you have to.
He's not in them.
But as a show,
Boba Fett character,
as
as a show, I'll always, of course, keep that in mind. That like, yeah, the Book of Boba Fett is because of this, but I'm mostly judging the Book of Boba Fett off of the prominent episodes of Boba's story. So 1 through 4, 7. Oh God, I don't even remember what happens in episode 6.
That's the Luke Skywalker one.
Oh yeah, then yeah, even more of a point. He's a side character in that episode to his own show. But yeah, that's my thing. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair, Alex. But
Yeah.
let's make our predictions. So I don't want a season 2. I think a season 2 is gonna happen, unfortunately.
I want one.
Like, but I think it's a season 2 you're not even gonna like. I think they're gonna make a direct continuation with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, it's not, because how do you top this?
You don't have to. Just make a
Yes,
good
you do.
story.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No,
Yes, you do.
I'm okay
Yes,
if
you
it's
do.
on par with this.
It's
I'm
not.
okay with
I'm just
it.
gonna tell you right now, it's not. It's
You
not
don't
going
know
to
that.
be.
You haven't watched it.
What I'm gonna tell you right, it's not. I'll make
Set
a
yourself
guarantee
up.
on this podcast. I make a guarantee. I
Set
want you to get
yourself up
a
for
post-it now,
disappointment.
or put this in a Google Doc. This is my guarantee. I guarantee you, if they make an Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2, it will definitely not be as good as season 1.
Sorry,
And the season 2.
I'm reading a Michael Waldron statement about Multiverse of Madness. That would have been amazing for a script. They should have kept this. Wasp was originally going to be a member of the Illuminati, and Wanda was going to clap her hands to kill her. Like a bug. Anyways.
If they do a direct continuation with Obi-Wan Kenobi in a season 2, it will not be as epic and not as good as season 1.
But here's my thing, and you're not going to like this. You're not gonna
How do you top it?
You're not going to agree. I don't need it to. I don't need it to. This is a show. I just want a good story. I don't care if it's as good as the first. It's not going to be as good as the first.
Also, what's the story?
I don't know. What was the story going to be here? Going to save Leia? What's this? It was a pretty far-fetched idea for everyone else.
It was him. No, but it was him confronted his past and confronted Vader. That was the story here. Do you want that again?
Sorry. I have to share this. I should not scroll through Twitter while we're talking.
No, because this is a serious conversation.
It is, but this is a serious meme that I just found.
I saw this. I saw this. That's
Okay,
good.
sorry.
That's good.
Look, again, for me personally, I don't need it to be as good as this. I'm okay if it's just a good story. I don't care.
I don't think it would be.
I don't need to imagine where it's going to be. Look, if you don't think it's going to be, don't watch it then.
I will watch it.
Then there you go. Your decision is made. You're going to watch it. And you're going to be excited for it.
But I don't want it.
Then don't watch it. If you don't want it, don't watch it. I'm going to watch it.
Okay, I won't watch it.
I'm going to be a Disney show who eats up everything they feed me. I'm eating pretty good right now.
We're eating good right now. We're eating
Exactly.
good.
Exactly.
You'll never top this, though.
Anything could top it. I thought nothing could top the Revenge of the Sith duel in terms of the emotion behind them.
Okay, so they fight. So you want them to fight again?
No, I'm just saying that notion that nothing can top this is wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
Nothing could top the first Avengers movie, and here we are. Infinity War is still the best Avengers movie.
Nothing. A season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi would definitely not top this. No.
You never know.
Him fighting Tusken Raiders in the finale of season 2 will not top him fighting Vader. Unless you have him fight Vader again.
Sure, have him fight Vader again. I'll still watch it.
No.
Listen, you're not going to win this argument. You're going to watch it and you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
I will say I would want a continuation of the story with the Path and Reva.
Here's my thing, bro. I did not want Reva to live.
I don't either, because the back of my brain's like, she knows who Luke Skywalker is.
She knows what she doesn't know. She knows that Obi-Wan is protecting him for some reason. She doesn't know what reason, but it's some reason. It's some reason that would have drawn him away from his mission on Tatooine. I don't think she pieced it together that Luke is his son. There is no hinting towards
I think
her
she
knowing.
pieced it together.
That's a pretty. But where would she get that from? Where would she be able to piece point A to point B to?
In the message, he talks. Bale says, if he's found you, if he's found out about the children,
The children,
obviously, she obviously knows that's referred to Vader. You can kind of
no, because the children could be the path. She knows Obi-Wan's now related to the path, so you could easily
but
make
in the
the jump.
message, Bale says he, referring to Vader. Reva knows Vader and Kenobi have that connection because she knows, that Vader is Anakin Skywalker. She also knows that as well, which is massive. She knows the two most death sentence things in the galaxy. That Luke at least, I think has pieced this together. You're watching the message?
What?
You're watching the message?
I am. I'm going back to watch it right now.
Because Bale says.
But the important part is she did not see the full message. She only saw children, Owen, Tatooine. Those were the big pieces there. And so you can't assume that Vader or Obi-Wan will be protecting somebody from Vader without the full message. In full context of the message, we know what he said. We know what he's getting at, but she doesn't. She only hears.
If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure she does hear the part about saying that if he's found you, if he's found out about the children.
She only hears.
Just watch it?
Hold on. Let me pull up it again.
Go watch it, because I want you to confirm this, because then I'll resign my statement.
It's a little loud. If he's found you, if he's learned of the children, but you can definitely hear that's only what the subtitles are saying, because it's cutting in and out of when he's saying it.
See?
I'll head to Tatooine. Owen, help the boy. So there's no indication of if he could refer to, yes, Vader, but that could also refer to the Grand Inquisitor. That could refer to the fifth. Yes, it's most likely Vader. But even then, that's also in sign that Vader's leading the hunt on the path. So you could easily put two and two together. Reva could easily have come to the conclusion that Obi-Wan probably reached out to Bale and said something about Vader now leading the hunt on the path. Again, you have to kind of think that no one knows the secret, not even Reva. Reva only knows that that Obi-Wan is protecting some boy on Tatooine with no significance to anybody else, just some boy. Most likely Force sensitive.
I think she's pieced together.
No, because if you're going to say that that he pieced it together, then you're going to have to say the whole galaxy pieces it together. Because when Luke comes out as Luke Skywalker was the pilot to destroy the Death Star, there's going to be some big leaps that people.
Wow, that one's kind of easy to explain. There's a lot of Skywalkers.
No, in the Skywalkers, there's nobody. There's no public Skywalkers. So you'd have to just assume that either Anakin had a child, or some random person with the last name Skywalker.
The galaxy is massive. There's lots of Skywalkers.
But come on. Pilot, Skywalker, Jedi. That's
the Chiss ascendancy.
But that's what they call people who
Force sensitive Chiss. They call them Skywalkers.
Yeah, they call them Skywalkers. But the galaxy isn't majority Chiss. It's majority humans in galactic users.
But still.
That's a small part, and they're in the unknown regions away from the galaxy.
But that's still a lot of. So you can't just say that. Oh, there's only one public Skywalker. No,
there really is. There's only one public Jedi pilot Skywalker, and wow, Luke and Anakin fit both those criterias. people are going to be able to take the big gap. Also, we know that Luke was very public about who his father was. So if he's public about it, then it's just like, again, if you think Reva's made the jump, then I'm pretty sure everybody else would. But the big question is, coming off of the series, and even off Return of the Jedi, do you think the public knows that Anakin turned into Vader, or do you think that's still on hush hush?
Like, how far down the timeline are we talking?
Let's go 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Do you think it's public knowledge? Because we know that Leia's political career gets ruined because she's the son of Darth Vader. So that means Luke is public about being Anakin's son. Leia's public about being Vader's son.
Let's put 2 and 2 together there.
And
they're twins.
But
they're twins.
The public doesn't know they're twins. That's the important key here. Is Luke Skywalker, she is Leia Organa.
I don't think people know unless you know.
I think it's a scenario of if you know, you know, but if you don't, Anakin's still a hero of the Republic who died during Order 66.
Yeah.
Crazy to think that. Like, could you imagine? Oh my goodness! What if I was just thinking? What if the series ended with like a Mysterio Far From Home post-credit scene? Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. Vader on Mustafar. What the fuck? Like that.
I would say the only continuation I want is a Reva and the Path show with the Inquisitor. I mean, we talked about a while ago on the show about a rumored Inquisitor show.
And I would show too.
I would be fine with that. I'd be fine with continuing Reva's story.
I don't want Reva's story to continue though.
Why?
I think it was fine here. I think
it just ends.
Sure, just like give us her.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Give us her in books, in comics, and whatnot.
No, don't do that because it's my big problem with Kira now. Is like Kira's story is very cool in the comics.
Yeah,
she literally fights Vader.
Yeah, and you know what? You should go read it.
I should.
You should. It's a good story. You'll love it.
But that would have been way cooler in a sequel too.
Everything would have been cooler in a movie or a live action show. But
the point is that Kira's story was started.
That's not how the dice roll. So what? So is everybody in Star Wars basically. Luke Skywalker has comic stories, but like
but the main points of their life are established.
Could you imagine
in movies?
Could you imagine?
Reva starts out as a live action character. I don't want to see how she dies in a
book. We haven't seen all of Luke's major points in between Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi or Return of the Jedi.
I don't care.
I care.
I don't care. They're not major to me.
You haven't read the comics then, buddy.
No, I haven't. Nope.
That shows.
Nope.
That shows.
Right.
Nope. I'm sorry, but I think the common.
By the way, where could I pick up that Kanan comic?
I don't know.
Because that matters a lot, doesn't it?
It does. If you want to nitpick that one thing doesn't matter now, I can nitpick and show you that 100 other stories do. So yeah, we can pick at straws and say that. Oh,
how do these stories in the comics influence the character of Luke Skywalker moving forward? They don't.
I mean, they don't because it's retroactive storytelling.
Correct.
They're filling in gaps.
They're filling in gaps.
Now, now we could say that the retroactive story from the comics has influenced how he acts in the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. We can say that. We can feasibly pull off that.
You think so?
Yes, you can. If you read the comics, you can tell why his philosophy changes from Empire to Return of the Jedi. It's not so such of a snap turn that he's some brash, arrogant child in Empire Strikes Back to some wise Jedi Knight in the beginning of Return of the Jedi. It makes sense with the comics in mind. I think the big thing to remember, and this is a big thing some Star Wars fans have trouble with, is unfortunately for them, Star Wars is a movie, TV, animated, games, book, comic book, visual dictionary kind of media. You don't have to read all of it, but you shouldn't be caught off guard when something is pre-established in a book from 4 years ago. That's kind of just how the ball rolls.
I'm going to say this right now. if you're watching Star Wars, all that matters are movies and
Yeah, sure,
animated shows.
sure,
It
but
shows.
like, but if you
It's all
get
that matters. You do
if you
not
get
need to pick up a book
yeah,
if you don't want to.
if you don't want to, you don't have to, by all means. But if you get confused of
Do
why,
not listen to this man. No, but
no,
also no. Listen,
no, no,
listen.
no, no,
No. Listen.
I'm listening.
There is not one example of something pre-established in a book that was like super important in a movie.
Sure,
Like
there was. Again,
what?
Luke's philosophy change from in between movies. That's not established in the movies. Why he has a sudden philosophy change. We see why is Kylo's lightsaber the way it is. It's stuff like that that's important to know. It's important to know.
Why his lightsaber is different? That's important to know.
Yes, because his lightsaber is a physical representation of who he is. Everyone's lightsaber is. I would say lightsabers are the tattoo equivalent of Star Wars. In the real world, tattoos are called the expressions of who you are, and a lightsaber is the same way. A lightsaber is the expression of who you are. And could you imagine one of the most conflicted people has a conflicted lightsaber? It's a thing also that it's just like all of the stuff in the High Republic starts in books and comics and is going to play a big role in the Acolyte, most likely Star Wars Eclipse. Like,
Oh, we
it's
don't
all
know that.
we can assume. Like, we can heavily assume that this story group worked on that. Again, we have to remember that yes, there is a hierarchy, and sometimes the people who make the story kind of do this better for the greater good thing. That unfortunately, the beginning parts of the Kanan comics had to be retcon. It just happened, but it's still a good story nonetheless. That's the important part. Is yes, even if some of these stories aren't major to the foundation of the next movie or TV series, there's still stories that happen and they're still important stories nonetheless. That's the important part there. And I don't want us losing sight of that because it's a book.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I'm gonna disagree, but I think it's fair. Um,
I mean, again, that's fine. It's just, again, that's just how Star Wars is, and that's how Disney wants it. Disney wants you to read, watch, consume everything.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
their business model. It's unlike the MCU where stuff's inspired. The stuff is one big story. The bigger picture. That's how I tell people Star Wars is. It's a bigger picture kind of thing.
So got anything else?
No, I'm very sad Kenobi is over.
I'm a changed man after that.
Yes.
I don't think I'll ever be the same after that interaction.
No, definitely not.
Um, yeah, just a time. I wish we got to see it together, but
No, you picked the wrong day for the finale to come out.
yeah. Um, but Alex and I, it's now a thing that we can never watch things together in the morning.
No, we have to watch it right after we do stuff.
Because this originally started, I believe, with the Book of Boba Fett we wanted to watch together, and it's like the only time I've ever woken up late for a 3 a.m. show, and it was actually supposed to be us. And then we wanted to watch the finale together.
Nope.
It was a bunch of stuff. We've never figured it out.
Nope. You never will.
And
Look, the problem is I'm either too tired, you're too tired, or we're both dealing with being irritable at the time. So
yeah, because like at 3 a.m., like I got up, I'm like, this is shit for my body. I feel like crap right now. Because
Nope.
I'm a health freak. So
I care about WoW. I just woke up this early for this to be super, super shit. That's how I felt about the Bad Batch. That's how I felt. That's why I don't stay up for 3 a.m. stuff anymore unless I'm like over the top excited. Because nope, the Bad Batch just taught me don't be excited for anything. Don't stay up for anything.
Let's now get into Miss Marvel. Or do we want to take a little break?
That's up to you.
What do you think?
That's up to you. I don't care. I can keep going. If you need to
Let's take a 5-minute break.
5 minutes. 5
Hooray.
minutes.
Let's let me get the lo-fi beats up. Uh
You should just play the fight scene from this episode.
no, I should do that. And oh, it's the wrong button. And we'll be back at
41.
9:41.
That's very loud.
And we are back, baby. We're back.
Joined by, of course, your Sorcerer Supreme, your local Sorcerer Supreme,
Stephen Strange.
Steven fucking falling apart.
Oh,
Sorry, my cloak is not cooperating.
isn't it supposed to follow you? There you go.
You know, we've been having a sort of like a love-hate relationship.
Got it.
He actually pushed my girlfriend off of a building. I sent Spider-Man to go save her, but we know how that goes.
Yeah.
Not great.
All right.
So back.
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
You go first, Mr. Negative.
What?
Mr. Negative, you go first.
Mr. Negative? I don't know who that is. I am the master of the mystic arts. And the master of being very much not into the show. I am so uninterested in this show. Even in this good episode. Oh, fucking shit. Even in this good episode, I'm just not interested. It's really bad. I think what's crazy is that I like the Bad Batch more than this. Like this has become the Bad Batch for me.
So, what do you not like?
The problem is
I'm gonna let you vent. I'm gonna let you vent. For
it's not a vent though. What I've said before. The show's not meant for me, so it's not gonna hit for me. That's just kind of the reality of the situation. It's not marketed at me, so it's not going to land for me. That's just kind of it. Like, I wish I liked the show. There's some redeeming qualities about the show, but that's it. I feel like they're pretty unsure. Like, the best way I could describe the show is it feels like they're writing it every week. It feels like it's being written, directed, edited, and released the next week. That's the best way that I can describe how I feel about the show.
Why do you feel that? What do you mean? Is it like a quality thing?
Not a sense of like a quality in terms of like I'm watching it and it's in 1080p, but it's just like the writing's all over the place. These people are good guys, now they're bad guys. The DODC's the main bad guys, then they're not. Then all of a sudden, the DODC, Department of Damage Control, just all of a sudden the law affects them, and then they're just gone for the rest of the episode. They're just like, oh, how dare you use the law in the right way? Okay, you know what? We're just gonna peace out for the rest of the episode. I'm wearing this inside out. Whoopsie. But yeah, that's kind of my problem with the show. Is the show feels the show reminds me of the sequel trilogy. Very like snappy, all over the place. Not reactionary, but like
which is weird because I thought you were gonna say pacing.
No, like the pacing's really bad also in this show. It's bad because it's too goddamn slow.
Does drag a bit. I didn't feel that with this episode though.
No, this episode was good. I'll give it credit. This episode was really good. Like the whole stuff of Brian or Bruno, love the guy, but like even I forgot his name. Like my thing was this is like they set up a really interesting backstory for him of Cameron, but Jesus Christ. I don't get the idea. Is he supposed to be a good guy? Is he supposed to be a bad guy? Is he supposed to be an in-between? The show kind of feels like it doesn't even know. And so I'm just like, ayo, friends, like, I'm trying to enjoy the show, not trying to do a video excerpt of the in-depthness of how flippy floppy somebody in the show is.
So overall, I thought this was good.
Yeah.
I will say one thing that felt very rushed was the whole Jin people.
I just don't understand it.
Yes, that's why I'm saying it was rushed. Like we got the flashback of the rediscovery of the bangle.
Yes, which by the way, in the place of the 10 rings.
Is it?
Yes, if you look at it, it's surrounded by the Ten Rings insignia.
And
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings tie-in.
Aisha and
Mhm.
Najima, Carmen's mother. So that felt all. It felt a little rushed for me. I understood, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be explained in future episodes, but it felt very rushed. They were like, they showed us the flashback, and then we got to present day, and it's like, oh, we just need to get home. We're like, we need to get this dimension. And the backstory wasn't there. I didn't feel it. It didn't
Yeah,
feel
it's just
organic to me. It just
yeah,
felt
you're just
plopped in.
the problem is like they're trying to serve us a story of like, oh, we're actually not from here and we're from another universe and we need your help to bring us back home. But I didn't get that feeling in the slightest bit. I felt like, oh shit, we need to find out a reason why these people want Kamala's help or why they want Kamala's powers. But the problem is that it's just like they're the thing with the Marvel shows, and Moon Knight has been the only exception to this. They've introduced the villain too late. It's too late to establish someone as a villain because you already established to us that the DODC were the villains of the show. Now you're backtracking. Now they're all of a sudden they're immune to any sort of reason and logic, and now the law is their big kryptonite. Go figure. And now
We
you're
still don't have an
introducing
explanation as to why the DOD or the DODC is after enhanced superheroes. We still don't have an
exactly,
explanation. We still don't
yeah,
know why.
and so that's just kind of my problem with the show is there's a lot on paper that's really good, but then there's a lot on paper that's really bad.
It's not really bad. It's just generic stereotype. Like that lady DODC member is just stereotype bad cop. Like literally
Yeah,
just
just
stereotype bad cop.
stereotypical racist bad cop. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, this might be appealing to someone, but it's not to me.
And the weird thing with the Jin people, they're really cool in concept, but like
Yeah,
we kind of gloss over that they're interdimensional beings. Like, what do you mean by that? Are they multiversal? Are they like?
yeah, it's just like,
I was really confused by that because I'm like,
yeah,
is it like that they're from Asgard? Like Asgard's a different dimension, right? Is that? Am I understanding this correct? Like, what do they
yeah.
mean interdimensional, Alex? Is this a in between multiversal and what does this mean? Are they multiversal? Like,
Who knows? Who
is it
knows?
like Asgard? Because Asgard's like a different dimension, you could say. Like, you need the Rainbow Bridge to travel, or the. I'm really confused. I'm sure we'll get it explained, but it didn't
Yeah.
feel organic to me. It felt
I feel
rushed.
I feel like we're at the point where if they try explaining something right now, it's just gonna be like, okay, cool. Why didn't you explain that when we first met them? It's like that's my problem though with like let me give a very relevant example. Riva, very good storytelling over time. Rewatching the series, and I said this last week, or I said this to you in private, I think. Rewatching it, you notice the subtle details. You notice them. Her grabbing her chest, her
Right.
being afraid to look up to someone,
Right.
all of that. You notice it's subtle. But this stuff is just like info dump, not enough info dump though.
Right.
So like that's kind of my problem is it's just like it's too little and right now it's too late. Unfortunately, as bad as upsetting as that is, it's too little too late to just bring someone in like
And
this.
when you tell us that, like, these people need to go back to this other dimension, they need to go back, it just felt wonky to me. It just
Yeah.
felt wonky and inorganic.
But
And
yeah, and then it's like also they're just talking about like they don't give a reason why they need to go back. It's like, oh well, our power is not good. Okay, but you're alive.
but they
It's
also say that like they got exiled, but they also say they
yeah,
need to go back because that's their home. Well, you got exiled, and what?
yeah,
Like, I just need a little bit more, and I'm sure we'll get it. Like I keep saying
yeah,
over the next few
I'm sure.
episodes, but in this story itself, it didn't flow. In order for villain or villains to be good, their story has to kind of flow with our hero. There has to be some type of juxtaposition where there
Yeah.
has to be some type of relation to the character, whether that be physical, mental, social, like some connection. Right here, we have the connection that Najma is was friends with Aisha, the great grandmother of Kamala Khan,
Yeah.
right? But besides that, what else makes her an interesting villain? She's interdimensional. Okay, we saw how she originally, or Aisha got the bangle originally, and how they never reconvened. But it all felt kind of rushed, right?
Yeah.
It didn't feel natural in the story. If you sprinkled these bits through the first 3 episodes, and I'm not sure how you would do it, but it didn't sit right with me. It just
Yeah.
we got the info dump and then we got the fight. And then we're like, okay.
Yeah. That was it. It's like the wedding stuff was really, really fun in this episode. I really enjoyed
It was a
the
joy.
wedding.
It was a ball. I love Amir. I love him,
Yeah.
bro. That's my guy.
It's awesome. But the problem is that the show struggles from there's no ebb and flow to the show. There's kind of just like reaching up and then oh, I'm out of focus. Um there's there's reaching up and then there oh my fuck. Okay, you know what? I'll get really close to the camera for this. There's no going up and then there's just big troughs down. And then the story struggles to get back up and then just push back down. That's the problem the show's facing. Is unfortunately it falls into Marvel Disney Plus formula number 4 or generic Marvel show number 3, where it's just like, oh, this is a coming of age story of so and so becoming so and so, doing so and so, only meeting their villain in the middle of the show or at the end of it. That's the problem. WandaVision faced it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier faced it. Loki faced it. Hawkeye faced it. Again, Moon Knight's the real only exception because we Arthur Harrow was the first guy we met in that series, and you realize he's the best villain of this entire Disney Plus on entourage of villains.
Right.
Like if you go after Arthur Harrow, who's next? He Who Remains, who is in what?
But that's just because of the intrigue and where we know the
exactly, and when we
saga's
know
going.
Yeah, and where we know we're going, we know we're leading towards King the Conqueror right now. But then who?
Kingpin?
Really?
Was he even that good though?
Right? Was he as good as the Netflix adaptation? Agatha, maybe, but even then, she was just kind of like, "Ooh, I want your powers."
John Walker as an anti-hero worked. Like if you were to put him in the villain category, I'd say he's the best, but he's an anti-hero. He's not a villain. Flag Smashers, they were in it from the second episode, but they were just weak.
But they were boring.
They were
the
weak.
The problem is that you introduce them as super soldiers against one of the protagonists being a super soldier. And so there's no balance there. You have we
don't get enough with them. We don't get enough time.
Yeah, the only Flag Smasher that we get enough time with is the one Flag Smasher when he dies, we feel his death. Is when he talks about being a big Captain America fan. And then gets slaughtered by the Captain America wannabe.
Like this, I loved the wedding. It was so
fun.
Good. It was fun. This show was hilarious too.
Yes.
Where they joke about the brother getting married, saying, "Who would have thought? Who would have thought?" And there's some really nice moments, like Yusuf and Amir's conversation about malehood, about being a loving somebody. The best thing a male could do is love someone. But the mother and Kamala's conversation about climbing the mountain, overcoming your obstacles with family, and how Kamala right now is struggling with trust in her family because of the backhanded comments they've had about the superhero being her in her community. They don't really, trust having their own superhero because it seems that their own superhero is not doing good things right now or is not helping the
Yeah.
community. And I've liked seeing the hero's journey, the coming of age story through a different culture, and it being very culture and ethnic and religiously focused. That's been really unique and cool for me to see. And while it's not for me, um, that's the other problem I'll say. It's very much a niche show. Very niche. Like it's targeting a certain demographic.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, I think, and it's gonna bring in tons of new MCU fans. Um, but it's I like it more than you. I'll definitely say I'm higher on the show than you. I think
Yes, you
production
are.
wise, it looks good.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love the color palette of the show.
Um, I thought the fight was good.
It was good, but the problem
You
is
just don't care.
there's nothing to care about.
You
Because
just you're not
I
emotionally
don't
invested.
I don't know if these people are supposed to be good or bad. Like, what reason have they given us for being bad? They just want to go home.
Now, yeah, it just it
And
felt like I was saying inorganic. It just felt plopped in. Now we were
yeah,
leading up towards this, right? But we were well, not really. We were leading up towards learning about Aisha, and we do learn a little bit about her. But then it's like, oh, we're gonna have the Jin people. So I mean, the
yeah,
Jin people were what Kamala is, right? She's a Jin person, I guess, right? I think that's what it is.
yeah, I
I
guess.
think that's the explanation. The bangles, how she harnesses her powers, but uh, you don't like the first time like Arthur and Stephen Grant have a confrontation. We care about the characters already. We've built them out a little bit.
Yeah,
This just you haven't built out Najma and the other members of the Jin people. Like we know they're interdimensional. It felt very corny. It just felt very inorganic to me. It just didn't work for me. I don't know how to explain it.
yeah,
Maybe again, it's a Reva type of situation where later down the line I look at it and say, okay, interesting. I will say another thing this show excels at is Easter eggs. Eric
yeah.
Selvig
Eric
gets a
Selvig got a
reference.
nice shout out. Go him.
Still running around naked, probably.
Yeah, probably still around Stonehenge, screaming his eyes off.
Um, you got anything else?
Not really. That's the problem with this show. We spoke for an hour plus about Kenobi, and we talked about Miss Marvel, Drew, for a
For
count
18 minutes.
of not even 18, for 17 or so minutes. Think, we spoke about Kenobi for the majority of this show. Yes, we went off on our side tangent about Star Wars comics and whatnot, but we talked about that for longer. That kind of goes to show where the show sits at with me. And I believe with you also. The show's just not interesting. It's good, but not great. If I were to
I
give a
would even
current
say it's
ranking, oh yeah,
as of now. I got the show at a 7.5.
I'm at 7.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
It's like when I think about rating it, I think of, again, we go Kenobi, an average of 9.1 for me. The Mandalorian season 2, we can already probably assume it's going to be like a 9 point something something.
Right.
You look at that and you ask, why are these shows so good? It's because it knows what it wants to be and it does it. This show doesn't know what it wants to be.
No, I do think that this show knows what it wants to be, but
Not
it.
really.
You don't feel that way?
No. I feel like it gets the cultural stuff really, really great. The stuff with her family is really, really great. From villain standpoint, from side character standpoint, from love interest standpoint, the show is just all over the place. We get the sense that, oh, Bruno feels left out now that Cameron's around. But then he's like a part of the wedding. So it's like, are you left out or are you not? Are you getting the puss or no? Like, the show doesn't the
Yeah,
show
it's kind of
is
weird. Do they
all
want to
over the
establish him
place.
as love interest? I don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, are you Kamala's future boyfriend or are you Kamala's future side hoe? Like, pick a direction and go. I
And we're
really
halfway through.
We're halfway through. I'm sorry, but I think this should have been a show that was just fully released in one binge sitting.
Probably. Now, as somebody, you like the character of Kamala Khan in the comics, correct?
Yes, she's really good. She's really good in the show, but the story around her is really bad. I don't want to say really bad. That's really, really harsh, if I'm being honest. It's bad. Not great. How about that? Is that nice?
Okay.
It's okay. It's like if I had to put the story on par, it's like on par with Thor: The Dark World story. Like on paper, not bad. Execution's not great.
I would just say this show is pretty well put together, I would say.
Yeah, production's amazing. Amazing production.
It's nice. It was I didn't watch it right after Kenobi. I will say though,
No, I took it. I took a break because I knew.
I will say I slept. I went back to bed.
Oh no, I didn't do that. I took like a 45
because
minute
I woke up early to watch it at 3, so I got done and I needed to console myself for a little bit because I was like, I just watched. And then I usually this is like one of the first times I woke up and I didn't watch it right away. I usually watch whatever is the Disney Plus or Disney Plus Marvel, Star Wars or show right away, right when I wake up. I didn't do that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I noticed that. I'm like, I didn't do that today.
The problem with this show is
just
right
doesn't-
now, if everything stands at where it's at, and every episode from 4 to 6 is at minimum an 8. The lowest this show can go for me is a 7.75. And currently that's what I think the show is staying at for me. That's how I feel about the show. It's a 7.75 show. It's almost at a B grade.
What do you have it at right now?
At a 7.75. I have episode 1 at an 8, episode 2 at a 7.5, and episode 3 at a 7.5.
I have 8 for this one. I have 7.5 for 1 and 7 for 2. So I have a 7.5.
8 plus 7.5 plus 7.5 divided by 3, 7.666. So
yeah, 7.7.
Yeah, there you go. But that's so subpar. That's the problem.
It's a little upsetting too because I think Iman Vellani is fantastic. I
So
think she's the stud.
The problem is the production, the cast, the crew, perfect. The writers. We might need to get some writers. And the problem is they shot very low with their target audience. I think the problem is that not only
look at the numbers. I mean, just look at the
under 1 million views for the first episode in the 5-day
it is less than half of the lowest previous, I believe, MCU show.
And I believe that was Moon Knight or Hawkeye.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Moon Knight or Hawkeye at what, 1.2 million?
Yeah.
Like this show, I could guarantee you this week will not get over 1 million views.
And the other problem is that I feel like Marvel might have done this intentionally and it sucks. But this show
I don't want to go the intentional route. The problem is they intentionally shot for the lower audience. And the big thing
I was talking about the placement of the show. I mean, literally. The last 3 weeks, it's gone next to Kenobi.
With like really good episodes of Kenobi at that. Like
the next 2 weeks, what's going to dominate the Marvel conversation the next 2 weeks? What comes out in a couple weeks?
Thor, Love and Thunder.
What's going to dominate the conversation?
Love and Thunder. It's a movie.
And then the finale. Then it gets its own week to breathe. But by then it's like
it's too late. I'm already done. I'm still talking about Thor, Love and Thunder probably the next week after. Like that's the problem is this show was destined to fail. You know where I honestly think the show would have been a better slot at? Call me stupid. Was She-Hulk and Andor. And Bad Batch. Because at least, honestly, it might have stood a chance.
Yeah.
Because we'll be going into She-Hulk. It'll really kind of depend, I think, on the first 3 episodes of that show, how I feel about it. And then Andor, I'm okay with. Bad Batch, you know how I feel about the Bad Batch. So yeah, I think maybe that's the problem with the show. It released at a really bad time. Let me ask you this. So far, would you have gone up to watch either Miss Marvel or the Book of Boba Fett if these were going at the same
Book of
time?
Boba Fett.
Whew. Woo! I don't know, man. It'd be a toss up for me.
Um,
Mm,
so to say to wrap this up, I'm gonna give this episode an 8 out of 10.
7.5. Could have been better. Should have been better.
All right, I actually want to take another 5 minute break because I have to use the bathroom and I want to film a TikTok. Is that okay?
Are you gonna be able to film a TikTok in 5 minutes?
Yes, easy.
I guess, Drew.
We'll be back at 10:11 to discuss our final two topics.
Rapid fire discussion too.
Oh damn.
Adios,
Oh.
amigos. Suck on my dick. You wanna suck? A suck. Dick. Suck on my dick. You fucking bitch. Wild thing. You make my heart.
I am the Senate. Do it.
And we are back. What's
Sorry,
going
I'm
on?
jamming out right now.
We are back. I'm about to post my Obi-Wan Kenobi
You want me to wait?
spoiler review. So now I want to get into our third topic of the show, and this is going to be about a new project that's reportedly in development over at Marvel Studios. I'm going
It's
to pull it up.
my origin story. I'm very
It's
honored to.
Marvel is developing a Wonder Man series with Destin Daniel Creighton, and Andrew Guest, uh, who will be helming a Wonder Man series. Obviously, Destin worked on Shang-Chi.
Go him.
Obviously, a great movie. I think a borderline or a top 10 MCU film. So here, Uh, Guest will serve as the head writer of the series, while Creighton will executive produce and possibly direct an episode or more. Creighton is working via his overall deal with Marvel Studios signed late last year in glow of Shang-Chi's success. We talked a lot about that, obviously being the first big project post-pandemic. They'll be co-creators for the series, and it's going to be a Wonder Man show, and that's in the early stages. Cameras could be rolling by next year. Wonder Man is one of Marvel's oldest characters, first introduced in 1964 in the pages of Avengers #9. He was initially a villain and only appeared sporadically in the early Marvel age, but was reconceived as a hero and Avenger in the late 1970s. In the 80s, he was a founder of the Los Angeles-based West Coast Avengers, and he had a turtleneck, red jacket, and sunglasses. Became a celebrity thanks to his day job as an actor and a stuntman. He had strong ties to well-known characters such as Vision, Wanda, and
Yep.
Scarlet Witch. Stories tied him to that android via ionic energy and brainwaves that implied that the two were akin to brothers. Wonder Man even developed feelings for Wanda after Vision had been dismantled. Takes on the Disney Plus series were not revealed. And yeah, what do you think?
I'm excited. I'd be excited for anything related to Wonderman. I'm not a big Wonderman fan, but anything to get me into him and a new character, I'll always take. So, sure.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You know, we'll get into this with our next topic, but wonder how this all plays in. I'm really curious to see how this plan plays into the grand scope of the MCU and the saga. As a new love interest of Wanda, I
Well,
think that could work.
I don't know because I think we're meant to assume she dead.
Well, she's definitely not dead.
No, I don't think she. I don't know. After
No, she's
rewatching
100% not dead.
after
I'm telling you right
rewatching
now, she's not
Multiverse
dead.
of Madness, I don't know what they intended us to think.
I think they wanted us to think that she was dead, but there's no way she's dead.
I don't know.
There's no chance. There's no chance she's dead.
I like to think there's no chance either, but remember the company that we're talking to right now.
You mean the company that keeps bringing Loki back?
That's his character.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that the
Yeah.
most powerful being in the MCU at this point died with rocks falling on her.
Could you imagine that's the way you go out?
Well, that's the way Monica Rambeau's Captain Marvel went out. Stone falling on her. But she lost
Yeah.
her powers, so that made sense. But with the Wonder Man show, yeah. I would want to see something with Wanda, but I also, when I envisioned it, I kind of wanted it to be like, I don't know why, but I'm like, I kind of wanted it to be kind of what his character is described as like, an actor, a famous Hollywood star. I kind of want that to be how we start, is a Hollywood star who gets powers.
Yeah.
Now, can you describe a little bit his power set in the comics? Do you know?
Again, I know almost nothing about this guy. I know my broad strokes that he's related to Vision in some way, specifically when he's in his White Vision variant form.
Hmm.
It's really
So,
all I know.
in the West Coast Avengers, which rumored that White Vision was going to join at one point. There was a rumor about that a while back. Do you think Wonder Man can reintroduce White Vision?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Again, they're very closely related into the comics, so I think, yeah, I can see it for sure.
I could really see a story where Wonder Man uh, is the one that helps White Vision find himself in the world, and then they team up with each other
Yeah.
and they form like the West Coast Avengers. I think that would be really interesting. We know Armor Wars might deal a little bit with that. Um, so I would be really interested. That's actually where I want the story to go. I
Yeah.
want the story to go down that lane where he helps Vision kind of figure out his way in the world and they set up their own Avengers team. And at the end, maybe there's a tease to Scarlet Witch coming back. Um,
Yeah.
and
I feel the presence I have not felt since Dramatic Walk Away. That's how it should end.
um, but yeah, I'm excited because I think Daniel Creighton, fantastic Shang-Chi. So
Yep.
I'm really excited to see him helm this project, and obviously, reportedly a Shang-Chi sequel and possible Disney Plus spinoff. So I'm really excited for Wonder Man. Well,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say very excited. I'm curious about where they're going to take the story, and I think a White Vision or Wanda route would be really cool, and make him just a swaggy Hollywood star that gets superpowers.
Yeah.
That'd be an
Exactly.
interesting character study to me, I think. So,
Absolutely.
uh, so Alex, do you want to introduce the final topic because you wanted us to talk about this?
Give me one
Do y'all
second.
remember what the final topic was?
Give me 1 second here. Oh yes, because I remember the story that we were going to talk about in its place was on the controversial side. Let's just say that Kevin
Right.
Feige discussing the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. So let's now move into our final topic. Kevin Feige said in a recent interview that we'll have a better idea of what this saga will entail and how it's going to play out. So, Alex, you had a couple questions in mind, I believe, that you wanted to ask from this. So go ahead.
What?
You texted me that you had.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I have questions if you need me to ask them, but I didn't know I was asking questions.
Yeah, yeah. Let me. I'm actually gonna look at my text because you did say
Sure.
that. Wait.
I'd like to know
Oh,
when this happened
He's
also.
so this is what Alex said. So Alex wanted to talk about this instead of Ezra Miller thing. I said, yeah, that's definitely a good idea. And then he said, yeah, then we could be like, well, what do you think the MCU was going to do?
Oh, I had a question to ask you. Don't even with you had questions? Yes, Drew. My question for you, my $1 million, $10 trillion question that we definitely don't have a concise answer where we're going. Where do you think the MCU is going, Mr. Drew?
Well, I think Feige is definitely talking. We'll freak out if he announces Secret Wars at D23.
I know. Same, but I really think he will.
I think it's going to happen.
I think this. I think, you know what? This is if I could lay out the next MCU, because we know they're planning out the MCU for the next 10 years.
He also said, I don't mean to cut you off again. He also said in that interview, Phase 4 is coming to an end.
What?
Yeah.
I'm just finding out about this. What?
Yeah.
How? When?
I don't know. It's coming to a close, he said. I'm like, what? Really?
Already? It hasn't even been going for a year yet.
Right, but there's already been like 15 projects.
True, there has been like 80 fucking stories going on at once.
Yeah.
Okay, but wait, that makes me confused. How are we already about to end the phase? Kevin
Well,
Feige.
the other thing is like, is the end of the phase the next big event? I assume, right?
We can throw hands. Well, to
Because it's
that
not going to play out like the Infinity Saga where it's
to that
1, 2,
point,
3.
got to think about it. The end of Phase 2 wasn't big. Do you remember what the ending movie of Phase 2 was?
Was it?
It was Ant-Man.
It was Ant-Man, right?
It was Ant-Man. So you got to think. Maybe Phase 4 doesn't end in a massive way.
Yeah.
Maybe we
Yeah.
just gonna get that kind of like we lead into it. I think, my wisdom, if I could write the next 10 years of the MCU, what do you think your two big events would be? So we have, I think both of us agree, Secret Wars.
I think Secret Wars is like we've said is a 2025 deal, 2026. Right?
Yeah, agree.
Another big event.
Oh, I'm gonna see if you agree with mine, but I want to know what you got first.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know comics like that.
Civil War 2.
How would this play out with Carol and that's Carol and Tony's story, right?
Replace Tony with someone else.
That also
Have
involves Inhumans heavily.
what could you easily make this about? The Inhumans being on Earth. Is it a threat? Is it too much for
I
this
got a better
person?
one. You could do
Okay.
Civil War 2. Mutants versus Avengers.
Yes, there you go. I knew somewhere deep down you read the comics.
But here's my big 3 for future announcements. Mutants. Official casted for the Fantastic Four. What's up with that? John Watts is obviously not going to be a part of it because he's busy with Skeleton Crew and the Filoniverse. Shout out Star Wars for getting John Watts, by the way. And the official announcement is Secret Wars. Because remember, Infinity War was announced in like what? They had Phase 3 planned out in like 2015.
Yeah, it was Infinity Wars Part 1 and then Infinity Wars Part 2.
They knew how they want. They didn't know what exactly, but they had the idea of this is where it's going to end.
Yeah.
So I think we could get very much that at D23, and they might be at San Diego Comic-Con. We're not 100% sure there. So I think that's my big 3. What are your big 3 things you think Feige's going to announce that will shape the phase?
Oh, so I think it's going to be obvious he's going to announce Secret Wars, right?
I think something also involving Kane.
I think this Loki season 2.
We already know it's you think he'll give updates?
No, I think we'll get potentially our first look. Because here's the
filming
thing.
like less than a month ago.
Yeah, okay. Well, The Mandalorian isn't coming out until February, and they already have official trailers made.
Well,
so,
and Ahsoka had only filmed for like 3 weeks, so yeah.
And they had showed stuff. So, they could absolutely show us stuff. But man, maybe an update on the Fantastic Four project. What's going on with that?
Yeah.
That's really
John
all.
Krasinski casting.
That's really all I could see.
But like big announcements that will illustrate. My thing is like it has to be Secret Wars. You have to
You have to basically make that outline and being like, all right, we're gonna go from this point to this point to this point to this point to Secret Wars.
Because there hasn't been a big obviously Disney Plus Day they announced new shows and stuff like X-Men 97, Spider-Man Freshman Year, Egg of the House of Harkness. But like there hasn't been like that. I don't know if you remember San Diego Comic-Con in 2019 when they brought everyone. Like that was when we first saw Natalie Portman was gonna come back and play Jane Foster. I think we could get that at D23, like just the
We
roadmap of the
better.
end of this.
Because if he's already talking about ending phase 4 and whatnot, then that man better have a roadmap for phase 4 and 5 going forward. My thing is
I
this.
trust
It's
that,
just,
man. I don't.
yeah. My thing is this. It's just like you can't and like it's obvious where we're going, right? Right?
Right.
Like my problem is this. Secret Invasion is such a big thing in the Marvel comics but it's a Disney Plus show. Like what would you do if they made Secret Wars a 6-part Disney Plus series?
I'd be so upset. It's not even funny. Don't even say that.
what, what if
Don't even say
the
that.
pin ultimate to phase 4 of Marvel, Secret Wars, the 6-part miniseries on Disney Plus?
I don't even say that.
No, I'm putting it out there in the air. I'm gonna put my lightsaber out there.
No,
I'm gonna put my
no,
aura out there.
no.
It's gonna come. We're gonna get Secret Wars, the Disney Plus miniseries.
I'm like Anakin now on Mortis. No, no,
Stop.
no.
Shut
Uh,
up. You're
oh,
Bucky from Winter Soldier. Shut up. Ah.
no, I don't see that happening.
It'll be so funny if it does though.
I see it being like a trilogy of movies. Yeah.
No. 3, it'll be a 6-part miniseries on Disney Plus.
It's not even funny. But yes,
No.
I do think we get the official announcement of Secret Wars happening. We'll get the end. We'll get the end. We'll get this all mapped out. He said in the article there's been secrets. He thinks there's already been things planted. That's Kane. Obviously, it's Loki. It's multiverse of madness.
Yep.
So,
Look, I'm
Yeah.
gonna announce it right now for Kevin Feige. Coming summer of 2025, Marvel's Secret Wars, the showdown of the century, is is going to
between
take
who? Oh, wait.
what?
The showdown of the century between who?
Anyone. Just
Okay.
everyone.
Just say everyone. The showdown between everyone.
Yeah. And then so that's what we're gonna do. Is that's gonna be the new tagline for Secret Wars, the Disney Plus miniseries, is the showdown of the century of Kang versus the Avengers. My Okay, hold on, wait.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it for our. You got anything else to say?
Nope. Disney Plus miniseries about Secret Wars is coming in 2025.
It's gonna be a multiple movies. Don't listen to people.
Nope. I know my stuff. I know my insiders.
Yeah. That's gonna do it for the show today. As always, fantastic discussion about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Next week, our episode will probably struggle to be longer than 40 minutes because Miss
Woo!
Marvel's our main topic. But
Please have another Ezra Miller controversy.
oh no! Don't say that! Don't say that! Don't say that! You can't say that. It's not funny. No, you can't say that. That's not funny. You can't say that. You just can't say that. I can't believe you said that.
I'm a Sith Lord, Drew. I'm a Sith Lord. I say what I want. Unfiltered, unrefined.
So
Just like coaxium.
that's gonna do it for the show. As always, may the force be with you. May you stay burdened with glorious purpose. And we will see you next Wednesday for a Miss Marvel episode number 4 review.
Snorefest. Sorry. Review.